Hello, 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 sellers. I was checking my mic. Come on in, come on in. I'm Kathy Terrell, and I love to be selling. And what I'm talking about today is a super tip because it's what eBay buyers want. And by giving eBay buyers what they want, they shop with me more. And that's a good thing, right? So we want to do this. And it's something that you can do regardless of any size that you are. So if you're a new seller, you can do this and get more sales. And if you're more experienced seller, I'm sure you're doing this, and we can increase it and get you more sales. But come on in and let's talk about it because it's a great strategy this time of year. And it is a great strategy any time of year that drives conversion. It's actually part of eBay's best match criteria, which I want to go over with you, because eBay spells out what they look for with best match. A lot of times I hear sellers saying things about best match. It's not what eBay says about best match. So I always like to look at, when people are saying things, what's your source of your information? Hi, Andrea, how are you? Kansas City, yay. What does eBay say? What's the criteria they're using in best match? And the reason why best match search matters to us as sellers is it is the default search. And that's why it matters to buyers. So when a buyer comes onto eBay, and most of our buyers now are on mobile, if you're not aware of it. So when they come on, I have my phone with me. If they come onto eBay with the phone, right, or the iPad, is when they're searching, they may not realize this, the search that eBay defaults to is best match. Now, within that, you can click and filter, newly listed. You can filter colors and sizes and brands and all kinds of things. But when somebody comes in and just does a generic search, like for purple iPhone cell phone case, it's going to default to best match if the shopper doesn't use any kind of filters to change that. Okay. So as a seller, the more I know about best match, the better, because it's what eBay buyers want. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for their items, and the way eBay's serving it to them is using best match. So I'm going to talk about one part of best match, and I'm going to pull this up. So literally, if you search on the internet and you search criteria for eBay best match and then look for eBay, this is what you will pull up. Let me get it bigger for you. There we go. Okay. And they even tell you how best match works. Like, thank you, eBay. And it lists, so how closely the listing matches the buyer's search terms, right? If I'm searching for a cell phone case, I don't want to see a pair of shoes, right? I want to see a cell phone case. How popular it is, the price, the quality, that you've created a good listing, the completeness of the listing, that you filled everything out, your terms of service. And this is what I want to point out to you, your track record as a seller. And what that means is, how you doing, right? Are you shipping within your stated handling time? Another part of your track record as a seller, which you may not be aware of, is answering customer questions. And that's what I'm going to talk about, because it is part of your track record as a seller, is answering customer questions. On several sites, in fact, I think Amazon's one of them, they literally require of their sellers to answer a question within 24 hours, the last time I checked. And if they don't, it's actually a mark against that seller. Okay. So it just reminds you of the importance to answer questions. Hi, Dale. That's why when you're on some big sites like Amazon, where you have some really big sellers, but it can also be true on sites like Macy's and Nordstrom. I was actually trying to get some customer service on a site with information about e-commerce, is you'll get an autoresponder. I'm sure you've run into this. So you're on a website, I'm going to pick something like Macy's or Nordstrom, and you ask a question, does this come in size 8? Or have the hours changed because of the holidays? Like, let's say I'm trying to find out from Macy's Herald Square. You'll get an autoresponder oftentimes, okay? And it'll say, we've received your question. We will get back to you with an answer, and they'll give you a time span, 24 to 48 hours. I've gotten ones, this actually happened on Amazon with some big sellers, where I'll message them on Friday and their customer service team doesn't work on the weekend. And they say, we work Monday through Friday. They state the hours. We will reply to your question during business hours on Monday. And the reason they're doing that, one is so that you know they got your question, right? It's like, hello. And the other thing is so that you know when to get a response. And you'll see some large sellers on eBay, the way they're set up, they have their customer service set up so you do get an autoresponder. Okay, I'm thinking of something like a seller like a Best Buy. So us as sellers that don't have autoresponders, that's us, is you do want to respond promptly. And the reason for that, one, just like I said, they know you got the question. Sometimes it can be a little frustrating. They may not know the eBay platform. They may have only bought from the large sellers that do have these autoresponders. They may have had a frustrating experience where they sent messages and they never got answers on eBay. Oh, that's not good, right? You definitely want to get an answer. So for my part-time sellers or us full-time sellers, but you may not be in your home office or near the item that they're asking a question about. So let's say they're asking a question about the fabric content. Let's say you listed the fabric content, but this person might be allergic to rayon or spandex, and they want to make sure that there isn't any in this item. And you know what? You just can't remember, right? And you don't have your hands on the item, and you're not in the area where the item is. Perhaps it's in a storage unit, or perhaps it's out in the garage and you're in the house and you just, you're not going to go out to the garage right now. You answer, you know what? I will find out for you. And when I respond, like let's say I'm out, I'm dropping mail at the post office. I'm not going to be back in my home office for 3 or 4 hours. I'll say to them, I'll respond to you. And I give them a time, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Let them know the time zone, right? Because we're all in different time zones. And I always overestimate. So if I know I'm going to be back in my home by 1 o'clock, I tell them they're going to have the answer by 2 or by 3, because I always like to over deliver, right? So if they think they're going to get the answer by 2, they get the answer by 1 o'clock. So it's always better to surprise them with doing it faster than the other way around, and just say, you know what? I'll check on that. I will get back to you by 1 o'clock. So many times you will get a response from them. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. And you will get the sale, particularly at the holidays. But don't forget, there's other events during the year where time is of the essence, which is they might be ordering for a birthday, an anniversary. They're going away on a trip and they need the item before they leave on their wonderful cruise. You know what I mean? So they want to know that they want the answer to their question. And then they want to make sure that the item's going to be going in the mail the next day. And that's another one you might get. Is there any way you can ship the item today, even though you may have 1 business day handling, which means it'll go out the next day, or you might even have a 2 or 3 business day handling? And honestly answer them. If you are not able to get it in the mail that day, just say, I'm sorry, I cannot get it in the mail today, but I can mail it promptly tomorrow morning. And I've answered that sometimes, because sometimes they get me like at the end of the day. And it's like, I'm not going back out to the post office, or it's going to close in like half an hour. I'd have to really wrap it fast and then run it up there. And it's like, the timing is just a little tight. So I'll say to them, it's a little tight, but I will be sure to get up there, because I hear you're concerned about time. I'll be sure to get up there first thing in the morning. And my post office opens at 7:30 in the morning. And I'll tell them, I will get up there first thing in the morning. And I do. And mail your item. If that's okay, go ahead and purchase and know that I will pop it in the mail first thing. And I do. At my post office, if I get it in before like 10:30, it goes out in the morning mail. In New York, there's several mail pickups from my post office. And I know if I get it in first thing, it'll be on the truck. They will start to sort it the same day. And oftentimes it's on its way. So it will leave the sorting area and be on its way, depending on where it's going to. So answer, and it's fine to answer and say, you know what, I need to get back to you on that, because you're answering them. They know there's a person there. They so appreciate it. So do keep an eye on that, because it really, really, really helps. And it goes to taking care of our customers, because they'll remember you. and oftentimes then recommend you to their friends, right? And that's what we want. And they also have a great then buying experience on eBay. And maybe they don't buy the item because your answer is, there is rayon in that item and they're allergic to rayon or spandex or whatever it is, but they remember you and they remember that they had a good buying experience on eBay because the seller got back to them right away with the answer. And that's what they're looking for, is someone to respond to them and to answer them. And that's what our job is as sellers. And even as a part-time seller, like let's say you're not going to be home till 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock because your job, and then you're picking up the kids and then you're fixing your family dinner. Again, fine. And you just say to them, I will get back to you, but I will not be able to respond with an answer, till 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whatever it is. That's fine. Again, you're answering them. You're letting them know what you're able to do. Another one is delivery. And this is one our newer sellers can get dinged on. So I want to bring this up. So just about everything on eBay ships with delivery confirmation. It's one of the great things about printing shipping through eBay, and other delivery services have it too. If you sold on eBay years and years ago, it wasn't always the case, but now everything has delivery confirmation unless for some reason you're shipping something with a stamp. The delivery confirmation protects you as a seller. It is a very good thing. So today I'm going to date this. This is December 5th, Monday. So let's say the item shows delivered on Saturday. It shows it was delivered on December 3rd. Your buyer will message you through eBay messages and say, the item shows delivered, I never got it. Can you send me another one or give me my money back? And so very politely, one is go and check. Okay, so you've got the delivery confirmation too. Click it. It will give you all the history of the item. Okay, and let's say it shows delivered. You message back very politely. I do see it's delivered. Perhaps check with if there's anybody else in your household, or check with your neighbors if somehow they got your mail. And the other thing that you can do, because you have the delivery confirmation number, is check with your postal carrier, because in some areas people know their mail person. Check with your postal carrier or your local post office for help. What you don't want to say to them, eBay has your back. If the item shows delivered, you get to keep the money because it shows that it is delivered. If somehow the item, and it can sometimes the item just doesn't get to them for various reasons, and I'll get to that in just a second, don't refund the money. It shows delivered. eBay has your back. What you don't want to do is get into a back and forth or any kind of adversarial communication with the buyer. And sometimes the buyers can get very aggressive, You answer a couple times politely and then just say, it does show delivered. And then if they're staying adversarial with me, which is they keep pushing me to give me their money back, I'll say to them, it does show delivered. What I would suggest to you, because they'll say, I don't want to talk to my post office, I don't have the time, whatever their answer is, stay polite and just say, again, reaching out to your post office is your best bet. And also feel free to reach out to eBay customer service. Okay. You have done your job. The other thing they can do, and if this happens, oftentimes they're pushing you for a refund, because sadly, some people will go after newer sellers thinking that they can push them to get a refund because they have gotten the item. They're pushing you for the refund because they have the item and they want to get their money back. And they think if they get really pushy with you, that they can pull that off. So just breathe. No, sadly, this does happen at times, but eBay has your back. If it shows delivered, eBay will find in your favor if they open a case. Now, what can happen if the buyer does shop a lot, because maybe they do shop a lot, and maybe for some reason this thing just ended up somewhere, eBay will refund them, but they will not take the money out of your bank account. eBay will pay for it. Now, I know some people, some YouTubers and podcasters will say that eBay is, enabling bad behavior. Not necessarily. I mean, they can see the back end of that buyer. They can see how much that buyer's doing. They can see how many cases this buyer is opening and how often this situation can happen. I mean, this person may shop and shop and shop with eBay, And eBay wants that person to keep shopping with eBay. They want them back. So eBay's willing, to suck it up, and they will refund it. But you as the seller do not need to refund it. Okay. This is that the person says they never got the item. This is not the item arrives damaged. This is not the item arrives and they claim it's not as described. What I'm saying is that it says it's delivered with the delivery confirmation. They want you to refund it because they're claiming they never got it. Okay. Just politely direct them to check with their neighbors, their postal carriers, and they can check with eBay, and just be polite. And if they open the case, so next scenario, if they open a case claiming item not received and your delivery confirmation number, which they have too, shows it is, eBay will say something like, to supply, I haven't had one open on me for a while, but all you have to do is copy and paste the delivery confirmation number. And if I remember correctly, there's a space and it can say, you can put a message and just say, stay polite. You put the thing and just say, I did send this. I did emphasize with the buyer that it does show delivered, and encourage them to check with their local postal office. Okay, that's it. You don't need to say anything else. Just that you did your job, you respond, which they can see too in eBay messages. Just that's it, and then sign off and then leave it alone. If they keep hammering you, if they keep coming at you, it's hard. Respond once or twice, and then my encouragement to you then is stop. You have answered, you have been polite, you've told them what to do. I know this is hard. Shake the dust off your feet and move on. Thankfully, they are very, very few and far between, but particularly as we get into the holidays, but it can also happen for anniversaries and birthdays. Things can get a little funky with the mail. Also, people can be anxious. My husband is this kind of buyer at times, right? They buy something from you, right? Today is Monday. They buy something from you. You mail it out on Tuesday because you have one business day handling. And the person is messaging you Wednesday. When is the item going to get here? You just mailed it the day before. And again, just politely respond. You have the tracking number in your My eBay because they may not know. Just click the tracking number. It will give you the history of your item. I'm so glad you're excited about receiving it or something like that. But particularly as we get closer to the holiday, people can really, really, really get excited about the shipping. And one final word on shipping too, because of holidays, but also this is good for birthdays and anniversaries. So again, it's Monday, and I'll get this. This is going to happen, like 3 days before Christmas or 4 days before Christmas or Hanukkah or the birthday, whatever it is, they'll say, if I buy this item from you, cell phone case, can you guarantee that I will have it by, and they'll give you a date? And I respond very politely and I say, no, I don't guarantee. I will mail within my business day. You can, by the way, I do offer paid shipping upgrades. So if it's free first class, if they pay extra, they can get priority. If it's paid first class, they can pay more and get priority. If it's free priority, they can pay more and get express. I mean, they can always bump up. And I'll say, if you're concerned about the shipping speed, feel free to use one of the paid upgrades. And sometimes they will. Oftentimes it'll quiet them down. They'll go ahead and they'll order it. But I would say about 30% of the time they will do the paid upgrade because they're concerned about the shipping time. So it is worthwhile to offer paid shipping upgrades, because if people really are nervous about the shipping speed or the shipping time, that can take care of it for them. Okay. So answer politely. Try to answer as quickly as you can. And the answer can be, I'm answering you, in a few hours or later in the day or whatever it is. People really respect that. And they're so appreciative of a human being responding to them. And with the shipping, if it shows delivered, you are covered. So don't get bullied or pressured in any way into giving a refund, because eBay absolutely has your back. And it is a challenging time of year. I have lots of great tips for you. I have a freebie for you on my website. I love to be selling. And let me just show that to you. Hang on a second. Where are we? Oops, hang on. Here we go. There we go. So if you go over to ilovetobeselling.com, you'll see it. It's the 12 days of Christmas. All kinds of tips on, not just on listing, which is super helpful. So it's the eBay sellers 12 days of Christmas holiday money-making tips. So I've got all kinds of tips on search, and particularly with holiday keywords, which can really be helpful to get your items to pop out. Also sourcing. Christmas is one of those seasons that absolutely sells year round. So keep that in mind as you're out and about. Something might actually be a little slow right now that you think might sell really well. And also that it'll pick up like right after Christmas. I've had this happen. You will sell Christmas ornaments after Christmas. You will sell Christmas ornaments in January, and tree toppers and holiday decor. So I've got inventory ideas for you, and I've got listing optimization ideas for you. It's completely free. So hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, and grab your free eBay seller 12 days of Christmas holiday money-making tips, and enjoy. Andrea, Dale, thank you for joining me live. And everybody, thank you so much. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye, everybody.